It's picture time. How often do you see printed pictures anymore? I couldn't go to the Walmart site because it wouldn't load on my camera. This is thin paper. Fuji-color crystal paper. Yep, here's some pictures from the places we went to on the way back from Detroit. Towing back my 65 Monza. I can't believe I bought that car. I was definitely not shopping for a car. Rest stop somewhere. Who knows where these pictures are. God, I love taking pictures. Look at that, all the trucks lined up in the background. Yep. So what day is it? It's Monday today, and Mrs. CW is on the second day of her journeys from, she flew to Lima, Peru, on the coast, kind of like San Francisco, right on the ocean. And she took a plane 700 miles, 1,1100 kilometers to Cuzco. And her trip's not going well. She called me, probably $12 a minute. But she's having altitude sickness. Turbo weasel. Detroit sunrise. She's not acclimatizing well, so she had a doctor come over. He made a house call, gave her some pills that have sulfur that can have side effects. So, the little tour that she's with, mugs, crazy mugs. The tour that she was with is marching around Cuzco. They went to see a fortress, and while they were walking, there was a dog eating from a dumpster. So she got a picture of it. So we taken a picture of a dog next to a dumpster for, she says, kind of close to my heart. My husband. Yep, there's the deal. The deal has been sealed. What we got here? On the move, the Chevrolets for 1970. One new, Monte Carlo. The big beast, Caprice. SS Chevelle. I was reading an article in Hemmings Muscle Machines that this car, this picture, is a 6-cylinder Malibu. And they just either airbrushed it or painted it to look like a big block, Cal-inducted 396, but it's not. It was a 6-cylinder Malibu, not a Chevelle SS. Dionne Warwick, Glenn Campbell, he's got Alzheimer's. Sitting on the dock of the bay in straight line, wishing and hoping, walk on by. Burt Bacharach, boy, is he good. Some record albums that I dug out of Mrs. CW's extensive record collection. Peter Frampton, $2. I went to a pawn shop today, and I bought something, and I'll show you. Bought Best of the Beach Boys, Volume 2. Surfing Safari, I Get Around, Don't Worry Baby, When I Grow Up, Little Saint Nick, Please Let Me Wander, Long Tall Texan, Help Me Rhonda, Let 'Em Run Wild, California Girls, Barbara Ann, and 409. What a bunch of hits. Pet Sounds. Crappy album. Anyhow, couldn't resist. I bought an 8-track ZENITH. It's past the Japan years. It's a silver face, but it's the end of the silver face because it's made in Korea. But it didn't look like the 8-track door had a lot of wear. You could tell how scratched it is. Shows how much wear it's had. So I bought this. It's even a recorder, an 8-track recorder. Record level right, left. Yeah, I know it's a piece of junk, and I kind of overpaid. I bought the album, 5 CDs, and a 12-inch adjustable crescent wrench made in USA for $40, tax included. Don't tell Mrs. CW, she'll shoot me. It's supposed to be money for emergencies. Well, it was an emergency. I had to have it. So I've got to get some RCA jacks from the basement because it has RCA speaker jacks, doesn't have the little screw posts. And I ordered a belt for my turntable for $6 from an Amazon reseller. And this baby doesn't turn on. Let's crank this thing on. You know that this stereo receiver stays on all the time? It's always got some heat. Classical, I love classical music. Love it. You can smell this thing working even when it's turned off, so there's always something on. And some people were telling me, I know nothing of what's inside here. I wouldn't know a capacitor from a diode trio and an alternator. But I know to spray it with contact cleaner. That I figured out, but I'm going to spray the tuner. But somebody was saying that my capacitors could be leaking. Well, would you see some dribbling underneath if they were leaking? And this thing here, this Kenwood, huh, the knobs are moving. I mean, the needles are moving when I move the knob. The light doesn't go on though. Sometimes it'll flash on if I jiggle. It's funny because the receiver, I mean the tuner, it's a tuner, looks so mint. It's so clean. Anyways, I only paid $25 for it. I just bought a Yamaha CR220, a small Yamaha receiver, much like this one, with a few more buttons for 30 bucks. And Spike Punk's gonna go pick it up for me because he needed a extra remote PMD for his Suburban. He bought a 2-wheel drive Suburban, 6.5 turbo diesel, a 97, I think, dual airbags with the engine stuff reversed from mine. So this tuner is working, just the lights don't go on. So I was on YouTube and someone said go to Vintage Stereo Receiver Phono Nut. I don't remember the site, but the guy was working on a Radio Shack clarinet. Oh, look, the stereo light went on. He's working on a Radio Shack combo cassette turntable AM/FM. Probably late 80s? I forget. Anyways, he was fixing all the little things in it. Boy, sounds like a retired gentleman from the south. Wish I can go to his place. Much like people want to come here. What do you want to do? Follow me around when I do my dumpster runs? I'm changing a floor right now, tearing up carpet. And I'm going to be putting down that LVT luxury vinyl tile. So this thing works, just the lights don't flash on. Imagine how many different models of receivers and tuners and amps they made, and guitar amps. I saw a nice Kenwood, a guitar, had a guitar mixing amp on the side. I didn't buy it, it was 170 bucks. It had too much black plastic. The knobs were half black and half silver capped. Not my favorite. I like the ones that have the solid aluminum, or whatever they are, knobs. So somewhere in here there's a switch that turns on the lights. That switch is defective. Because the lights came on yesterday. So what am I doing, aside from playing with little buttons? I'm drilling a hole so that I can I have drilled a hole. I'm going to put a surface mount receptacle on here. And I'm going to make it have 2 separate circuits. So I'm going to run a 12 3-wire that has 2 hots and 1 neutral. I'm going to put it into my overstuffed electric panel with this double breaker. It's a square D QO. Made in Mexico, probably. It's funny, the QOs, this is a home line rather. The QOs are 20 bucks and this is 12. What the hell's the difference? Nothing. Interchangeability. QOs, nobody makes them. So I'm going to put a surface mount box with 2 receptacles. I'm going to put one with the ground down, one with the ground up. Got these here. Bought these at Walmart many years ago. They had mispriced them, 44 cents for the heavy-duty 20 amp receptacles. It should be more like $2.50. Bought whatever was on the shelf, the last one. 20 amp breaker. The 20 amp receptacle has a sideways blade. If it's 110, it's on the left. If it's a 220, 20 amp, of course, it'll be on the right, like for an air compressor. This is just an extra heavy-duty receptacle. It grips the blade extra heavy, and sometimes the plugs have a blade that's sideways, a horizontal blade, to make sure you're only putting it in a heavy-duty receptacle with proper 12-gauge wire. And this is a crappy one, cheapy, because you have to wrap the wire around the screw, whereas the more expensive one, the one that's $1 more, I don't have one here, these are all cheapies. The more expensive one, nope, has a little plate and you put the wire under the plate, and it makes it easier to put two wires under a screw, which you can't do on these. You can put a wire into that screw and a wire into that screw, but you can't put two wires underneath. You're not supposed to, because when you're tightening it, it'll push this wire down. Somebody made a comment on one of my videos yesterday. If you wouldn't freaking talk so much. I said my videos are not educational, they're just entertainment. If I happen to show you how to do something, all the better. And I've got a stapler that shoots T75 arrow staplers for attaching non-metallic wire. But it won't work for this. The staples aren't wide enough. It's just more for hanging the wire while you're getting it in place so it doesn't fall down and get tangled. So that's my new receiver. That's my Beach Boys record album. And if I had a record player that worked, I would play it for you. It's funny, when I bought this receiver, I said, whoa, look at these heat sinks on the side. Decoration. Yep, just decoration. It's got venting, but it's just decoration. And I've got a giant Kenwood KR790. UPS man has it on his truck somewhere, coming from East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. It's a European model, only available to military men or women on bases. And I've got one black unit, a Technique that I bought new 20 years ago. Yep, I don't buy black stuff. I just buy silver-faced things. And then digital, this is a transition. Mrs. CW probably bought this in the mid-'80s. I have another Kenwood coming. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, I take that back. The Kenwood that's in the mail is a Kenwood 11, E-L-E-V-E-N, and 11-2 European, no, sold to military. I got the description right, I got the model wrong. It's a Kenwood 11-2 wood side, not a black one. And I have a Kenwood KR 790 that has a analog dial, plus it has digital. Only sold in Europe. But mine's got a US plug, so whatever. They made millions of these models. Anyways, it was really interesting, so I bought it. And I've got to pay for it and go pick it up in Florida next spring. The guy said he'd hold it until I got there. So there's my giant JVC, and there's my cleaner. I'm going to spray it. I'm going to go downstairs to the basement, start pulling wires, and put a receptacle in so I can power these babies up without popping the friggin' 15 amp, 14 gauge that runs Mrs. CW's computer over there. Bay window needs electricity. My pile of junk. Chevy.